literally got to ground.
Is there any more in there?
What, any more of the... I could keep going.
Most people I slept with in a night is 5.
This is the first time that he's walking into a villa, like, with new people. You then go and say that you've slept with 5 people in a night out. Like, why would you say that?
I am very curious as to what it is the guys say in Shakira, because I don't get why she's getting all the attention and everybody else is scrapping for scraps. Because this happens a lot on Love Island, whereby the boys go crazy over one girl when there are other girls that are there just sitting and just watching, like, you know, like they're there for decoration. So I don't get it. Is it production pushing the guys out to go after Shakira, or is it Shakira just being, you know, that attractive that the guys can't help themselves? And then Romell, you lost Lima the same way you won her. You won her as soon as you walked in, and then you opened your mouth and you lost her. I don't get what made you think that that was a good idea. What was it that made you think making a comment about your sex life as a first impression would be a good idea? Because now she has this picture of you, or this image of you, and I don't know whether you can redeem yourself from that. Anyway, hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island UK Season 12, Episode 3. So after Sophie leaves the villa, everybody goes back. Well, the mood is low because obviously someone has just been dumped. But you have people go and sit in their little quarters and sort of have conversations on what's just taken place. And a lot of people are shaken because they, you know, this is not something that was expected. Yes, they saw it coming, but I think there was a lot of assumption that maybe what would happen is production would change their minds and not dump someone, but they still went ahead and dumped someone anyway. So you have Helena go and sit down, and she's having a conversation. I think it's one of the Megs she was speaking to, and she's sort of just concerned that her partner suddenly stood up, because that was not expected as well. I didn't expect him to stand up. Well, Connor, I think I did. I think I didn't, because they had good banter and I was surprised that he stood up. You have on her part, as Shakira is being asked by the girls, so did you know who you were going to pick? And she was very vague in her response. She didn't come out and say exactly who she was going to pick. So it was a bit awkward, because I think she didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings, because had she told the girls, yes, I knew who I was going to pick, then they would have said, so why were our guys standing up if they knew who you were going to pick? So I guess it makes sense. You then had this conversation at the fire pit, which I didn't quite understand, because you had you know, Lima sitting there with Dejon and Meg, and you also had what's his name Harry sitting there as well. So they were just sitting around the fire pit, and they were joined by Tony and Ben, and so there was this conversation about the awkwardness and about who, you know, Shakira had chosen, and whether anybody had the slightest idea that that's who she was going to pick. And then there was this tiff between, you know, Tony and Ben. I didn't get it. Ben, I think, likes to chase girls, or likes girls chasing after him. And the moment the girls don't chase after him, he loses interest and he moves on. So, you had Tony say, you know, boys, now it's your... She just said, now it's your turn, guys. And, you know, you suddenly had Ben in his feelings. This shows his age. This is why they shouldn't bring 21, 22, 23-year-olds, because some of them are very immature. This shows his age, because then he got upset. Why are you saying me? And she said, not everything is about you. And everybody didn't understand why he got upset. So he stood up, he stormed off. And it's like, why is he throwing a tantrum? He's not a little kid. There's no need for him to throw a tantrum. I think he thought once, you know, he was stolen from Shakira would be dumped. And so the idea that Shakira got to stay, and not only did she get to stay, but 3 other boys showed interest, is something I think that was concerning to him. This is why he was now behaving the way he behaved. You had Helena and Connor go for a chat, and they were just trying to sort of discuss what had happened. And I love that immediately Connor sort of went into crisis mode and sort of crisis management, and had this conversation with her and explained to her why he had stood up. And so also he semi-apologized in the sense that he just explained that he felt bad that that could have risked her being sent home. So that was good that at least he understood what his actions could have led to. I didn't see Blue have a conversation with Lima, and I don't know whether it was the edit or whether he never actually had a conversation with her. You then had Harry have a conversation with Shakira, and Shakira told him that she knew who she was going to pick. She was going to definitely pick him because she felt her bond with him was stronger. Everyone was surprised. I think some people thought she was going to pick Connor, but she said, "No, I feel nervous when I'm around you. Whereas with Connor, I don't feel nervous. This is why I picked you, because something about you just excites me." You then had Ben go and sit down with Megan and Tommy. And I think he was looking for someone to boost his ego because he was upset that, people had not sided with him when he threw a fit. And I definitely want to believe he knew he was wrong for the way he reacted. So he started moaning bitterly about Tony. Oh, there's no spark there. I can't feel anything. And it's like, so what do you want everybody else to do then? So you had Ben questioning why Shakira had picked the person that she had picked. She had picked Harry. Why didn't she pick Connor or anybody else? This is what I think. I think he likes the chase. I think he likes being in charge, and I think he likes feeling like he has the power to pick what happens. And so the idea that the girl that he liked or the girl that he might have been interested in has moved on and is now with somebody else is not sitting very well with him. And this is why he's trying to sort of instill doubt. I truly feel like the fact that Tony and Shakira are friends might be one of the reasons why Shakira might not go back to Ben. And at the end of the day, Ben has shown his age by the way he's moved around with Tony. So I don't think Shakira should give him the time of day. I think it's important for her to move on and find somebody else who matches her vibe. So Ben then goes to the kitchen and is busy venting to anyone with ears to hear that he's not happy about how things have been going with Tony. He's got the ick because of the comments that she said and everything she does. And you had everybody questioning him. Like, what did she do? She didn't do anything. She didn't say anything against you that we saw. And he didn't want to acknowledge this. So he kept throwing a fit and then eventually stormed off when Tony came into the kitchen. So because Shakira and Tony are friends, Shakira then told Tony that be mindful that he's been telling everyone that he's got the ick from you, so you need to be aware of what he's saying just in case. So Tony pulled him for a chat. They went to the fire pit, and I loved how sarcastic she was in his responses because he said, "I got the ick," and she said, "I got the ick as well." And he said, "Well, I think you're saying you got the ick just because you want to repeat what I've said." And it's like, nah, I would have got the ick from someone throwing a tantrum just because I made a comment and they didn't understand what I was saying. And instead of asking for clarification, they then threw a fit. I would have got an ick without any question. So they decided that this was the end of their relationship, their connection. Tony said she can't wait to share the bed. And it's like, yeah, because the first night they were already in cuddles. Now they're in a situation whereby this man wants Shakira back because Shakira didn't come sort of pining after him and she's moved on. This is why I think he's behaving that way. You have Megan and Dejon go to the terrace. I need more footage. I need production to tell us exactly what's going on with this couple because at the end of the day, they were sitting downstairs with everybody and suddenly they're on the terrace. We all know what happens on the terrace most of the time, outside of the one time with Mimi last season, the scandalous situation. They shared a kiss there. She seemed interested. I think her initial hesitation with Dijon was she was worried that Dijon would go for Alima. I want to believe that him not standing up at the fire pit is one of the reasons why she's reassured and is one of the reasons why she's happy to kiss him. They seemed to really like one another. She had the legs over his legs, so I assume she's very comfortable with him. And it's sad that we're not getting to see a full picture of their story. I wish we could get to see more, even in bed, where we were shown everybody else having settled in bed. We were only shown a brief clip of them sort of adjusting in bed and with him moving pillows and stuff. So it's like, why are we hiding this connection? Are we trying to wait and sort of give it time to ferment, or are we waiting until it becomes toxic and then we can, show it to everybody else? I didn't quite get that bit. I was a bit taken aback and I was a bit surprised that, that's the way they've decided to edit it. I think they make a cute couple. I really do. I hope, Alima on her part gets her own person. Everybody gets ready for bed, and it's a bit aux galore because everybody's in a different space. The only two couples that you had cuddling were surprisingly Helena and Connor were cuddling in bed. Uh, Shakira and Harry also shared a kiss in bed, and it's like, wow, are they there already? I didn't realize they were there. And Tommy and Megan, obviously, every night they cuddle, so it's nothing new. Morning, the islanders woke up. I'm surprised we didn't get to see anyone make breakfast because normally this is the routine. I'm actually surprised that the couples that seem stronger didn't actually make each other breakfast as well. So that was side eye for me. Anyway, you have, the islanders wake up and they have a mini debrief. Initially, you had the guys working out, but then you had the girls go for a mini debrief. And I, what do I say? Well, people like Helena was talking about the fact that, Connor is feeling very sorry because he stood up and she wasn't expecting him to stand up. So he's trying to make up for that. And it's like, this was always going to be a bit tricky because they have a connection, but it's not as strong. So it's understandable that he would have stood up. You have Alima. Alima sadly is in this no man's land whereby she doesn't have a connection with anyone and is just waiting for someone to walk through the door. On the terrace, you had Tony, Shakira, and Meg have a chat. They did speak about the kiss with Dejon and Meg. And Meg seemed very happy and at peace with that. Shakira said, she was happy, she was in a couple, but she was open to getting to know other people. And it's like, this is going to be aux galore because it's only week one. I love that it's totally different from the Love Island USA situation with Hoda and Jeremiah, where they locked each other 2 days in. It seems everyone at the moment is still open, but it seems like it's also going to be messy because of the fact that they are open. People are struggling to find a person they can sort of connect to and sort of create that bond. Tony and Meg were the same as usual. They're always talking about nothing. And yet at night you see them make out in bed. And I don't quite get their connection. I don't know whether it's a connection of convenience whereby they've decided to keep each other till the very end or whether there actually is something there that's strong enough for them to explore. Poor Tony, because she's not in a couple, she's having to sort of speak to the guys to see if she can establish a connection with someone, see if there's anyone who likes her the way she likes them. She did have a brief conversation with Connor, and it didn't really go far. I didn't quite get it. I know they were flirty, but that was all it was. It was nothing stand out. You have Harry having a conversation by the pool. He's having a conversation with Shakira. I actually think they have a great bond. I think they really like one another, and I think it could go somewhere if they continue to work on it. So the audacity for Ben to come and pull her and take her to the hideaway doesn't make sense to me. Ben is after attention, and I think he's realized that he screwed the pooch by dumping Shakira or by not showing his interest in Shakira. So he took her to the hideaway. They had a conversation, and Shakira was honest with him and told him that my number one is always going to be Ben. I'm open to talking to you, but that's it. And so I'm happy that she was able to pick up on it, that this guy doesn't like me. He likes the idea of me, but he doesn't like me. And because he's vulnerable, this is why he's doing what he's doing. Because at the end of the day, if he could treat Tony the way he did, he's going to treat Shakira the same way. You had Tony put Dijon for a chat, and Meg was in her feelings. She was feeling some type of way that she's stolen my man. And it's like, it's only day three, madam. You need to take several seats. So they had a conversation, which I thought was cute. They spoke about, where he lives, London, and she's in Vegas, and they spoke about sort of bi-coastal relationship, which was good, which was really good. I loved it. I love the fact that at least they're, Dijon is not closing himself, he's opening himself, and he's actually exploring connections with other people, even if he's still very respectful to his partner. So that bit I really liked. I thought it was really sweet and really cute. You then had Shakira sit by the pool. I think production told her to sit by the pool. I'm going to say that. I think production told her to sit by the pool because she sat by the pool and then out of the Blue came to sit down with her and have a conversation. And they spoke about Ben initially. We should tell Blue that she's not interested. Because why is she talking about somebody else when she's with you? She should be talking about you. She should be focused on you. The audacity for her to try and bring somebody else into the conversation should be enough to tell you that she's not keen on you. You had Ben sort of peeking, and it's like, why does it make it seem like she belongs to him? I love that she said to Blue, Ben only wants me because he knows he can't have me. I don't think he likes me as a person because when I was available, he didn't like me. Now that he's realized that somebody else has me, this is how he feels. You had Harry go for a chat with Helena to the hideaway. It was really cute and flirty, and they really were giggly. I think they can be the best of friends, but I don't see anything romantic. They spoke about the hideaway. Apparently, with the hideaway this season, it's open 24/7, and you can come and spend the night with someone that's not your partner. So you can't come with your partner, and I assume until you get the text message, but you can come in with anyone at any time of the day and even spend the night. So they were talking about, oh, shall we come in and spend the night? And it's like, I don't think this is a good conversation, buddy. I think you need to cut it. You need to cut it because he's with Shakira, and maybe it's worth you waiting until somebody else comes in. So you had Tony prepare a plate of fruit for Dijon, and so she went and they were sitting down and they were eating. And Meg was in her feelings. She was in her feelings because she was wondering, oh, what is she doing now? She's bringing him food. She's bringing him that and the other. And so I love the little debrief session she had with Harry to say, what shall I say to him? Shall I go and say, do you want to come for mains? Shall I go and this? And it's like, this girl is serious about this guy. I thought initially she was just humoring him, but it seems she is actually liking him. So she pulled him for a chat. They went and they were speaking, and it was really cutesy because he was complaining that I haven't seen you all day. And she was saying, well, you haven't seen me because you haven't looked for me, but I've been here. And it was the sweetest thing. I loved it. I love their communication. I love their little chats, and I really hope they can cement that connection and hopefully be a strong couple by the time they leave the villa. And then you had Harry run and report. Guys are crazy. He ran and he reported to Shakira that, oh, Helena, we went to the hideaway and she was saying to me we should spend the night in the hideaway and stuff. And it's like, why are you telling her all that? That's not necessary. Why are you telling her that? She didn't ask you for that. Why would you think that's okay? Why do you want to create tension amongst the girls? But hey, it is what it is. So you have the girls getting ready for the night and they're busy yapping about the guys and their connections. And then a message comes through to Helena. It says, girls, get ready because Shay and Romell are waiting for you at the fire pit. Hashtag, let the games begin. Hashtag, she's got options. And the girls are ecstatic. They really are. So they run to let the boys know that, there's two new bombshells coming in. And the boys are nervous. They really are nervous because, when bombshells come in, then that means you've got more competition. There's more chances that your girl could be stolen from you. So it's bound to lead people to be very anxious. So the two guys are Romell. He's 24. He's from London. He's an online coach. And he says guys are normally intimidated by his physique. And it's like, well, if that works for you, amazing. The other guy is Shay. He's 25. He's from Bristol and he's a scaffolder. He said his height normally works in his favor. The girls seem excited. And so you have the girls go out to meet them at the fire pit and the boys are on the terrace sort of watching, and they're sort of assessing to see their competition, to see if there's any threat that their girls might be gone. It seems the guys noticed that Lima is very excited about Romell and she seems keen to sort of get to know him, and I hope it works for her because at the end of the day I think she's one of the few girls in the villa that is not getting as much attention. It's her and Tony, whereas everybody else, at least they have a connection that they're exploring. So you have the boys come down to meet Romell and Shay, and everyone is excited, obviously, to meet the new guys. They then play a game of truth or dare, and it's going to be messy. And I don't know whoever the producer is always interested in people swapping saliva. I wish they could give them annual leave. They need to go on a break for a bit. Anyway, so they get to pull cards out of a bowl and then whatever it says they have to follow. So the first one up is Ben. He was asked to snog the islander you fancy the most and he went for Shakira. Anyone surprised? No. Shakira knew it was coming. Poor Harry had to sit there and listen to the kissing take place. But hey, what do you do when you're the most popular girl in the villa? Next up was Lima. Snog the islander you'd couple up with right now if there was a recoupling. She chose Romell. Surprised? Not really. Not really. I haven't really seen her chat to anyone else. It seems Romell is the only guy she's shown interest. Everybody else we haven't seen her chat to. Surprisingly, when she sat down, you looking at her, you'd have thought she's in a couple with Romell and not in a couple with Blue because she was further away from Blue. That was Oxcalo. Next up was Meg. She was asked to fake an orgasm in front of the islander you fancy the most. She went to her couple partner, Tommy, and coughed or whatever it was. Tommy wasn't impressed. He said, he's heard many sounds, but he's never heard that before. Shay was asked to seductively suck the finger of an islander you'd like to use handcuffs with. He went to Shakira. I do not know what exactly it is about Shakira that the guys are saying that we are not seeing. Is it her personality, the fact that she's very bubbly and giddy and bouncy? I didn't quite understand that. But you could also see that Harry wasn't impressed. He wasn't happy about that. Next up was Connor. He was asked to kiss every islander of the opposite sex. Oh, he was ecstatic. He loved this. I think Ben would have loved this, but he loved this even more. So he kissed every girl bar Lima and Meg, the one coupled up with Dejon. They only gave him little pecks, but everybody else went to town. Blue, you and an islander of your choice of the opposite sex snog for 20 minutes. He chose to kiss Helena. Yeah, I think Helena is more interested in Harry than she is in Blue, but it is what it is. Helena then had a card to say, have a three-way kiss with the most attractive islanders. She chose Harry. We all know she really likes Harry, so she chose Harry and Connor. Hey, good for them. Next up was Harry, give the person next to you on your left a lap dance. And so he went and he gave it to Helena. And then after the lap dance, it was a bit awkward because he kept his hand on her lap and I didn't quite understand whether he was trying to get back at, Shakira for kissing too many guys or what that meant. I didn't quite get that. I was side-eyeing him. And then Romell, sadly, he lost Lima the same way he had won her over because his card read, reveal a secret about yourself fellow islanders don't know. And then he said, the most number of people he's had sex with in one night is 5. And it's like, what about that did you think was going to impress anyone? What about that did you think would create a good impression? Because it suddenly sort of had everybody's backs turned up of all the things that he could have said, of all the things. Instead of him saying, I've dated 2 people at the same time, I've done ABC. No, he felt that telling people that he had had sex with 5 people in one night was enough. And that was the end of the game. Sadly for him, the girls took note. And as soon as they sat down in their little group to debrief, the girls brought it up with Lima. And Lima felt some type of way about that. She wasn't happy with that at all. She wasn't impressed because she felt it was inappropriate for him to say that to people that he didn't know. And that's the truth, though. He doesn't know these people. So the audacity to then just come in and just start saying that, I don't get it. I thought he was way more mature than that. So the idea that he felt that was the first impression or that was the best impression to make with people he didn't know, I didn't get. So after the girls, you had them sort of also bring up the fact that apparently Harry had his hands. Well, it wasn't the girls per se. It was Meg coupled up with Tommy. That said, oh, did you notice that Harry, when he had his leg on your hand, Shakira, and rubbing it, he was also rubbing Halima's leg, and this, got on Shakira's nerves because she didn't like it. She thought it was disrespectful, and so she felt some type of way about it. And it's like, well, what do you do then? What do you want to happen now? So she went looking for Harry. Harry, on his part, was sitting down having a conversation with Helena. So they had this chat, and she sort of brought up a concern that I didn't like this. I didn't like the fact that, you were rubbing your... And it's like, I don't think you have any leg to stand on because you've already been to the hideaway with Ben, Shakira. You've already kissed Ben. Have you told Harry that this happened or you haven't? I don't get it. So they had this conversation, and then soon after this conversation, you had Blue come over and he pulled Shakira for a chat. they went to the hideaway, and it's like, oh, this is messy. She's just had a go at, you know, her guy, and now you're pulling her for a chat. So he pulled her to the hideaway for a chat. They had a brief chat, and then he gave her a kiss. I don't think she was impressed. I think she realized that he wasn't there, because then she started laughing and she said, let's go. And to me, that's more or less her telling him that there's nothing there. Is let's keep it stepping. And so hopefully he took note of it and he can move on and try and create a connection with somebody else. Sadly, he shut the door on Lima, and I don't think any of the other girls has any interest in getting to know him. So it's either he has to wait for a bombshell or he's going to be the first guy dumped. But I don't know whether Blue will find this person in the villa. You have Harry have a conversation with Helena, and he tells Helena that, you know, he got in trouble because he was rubbing her leg and Shakira's leg at the same time. So he's in the doghouse for that. And it's like, well, if you behave like a dog, then you're going to be in the doghouse. I can't wait to see what happens tonight. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 02. Bye guys.